is Jalen. I'm a current sonography student, and I will be going over some SPI questions. I recently downloaded Prepry, so we're going to go over some of the questions here that I have. So it says, in this image of a normal carotid artery, the notch of the probe is oriented towards the patient's head. Adjust the console to display the correct color flow parameters. So instantly, we're going to go look at the image and ignore the questions for now, or the answers for now. I like to find what is wrong with the image before I go and compare the answers. Once you get used to it, it's easier to identify the answers once you know what's going on in the image. So first, we're going to look at the box. We can tell that angle steering is good. This is going towards the right. We can tell there's a little bit of ghosting and that the artery is blue. We do not want the artery to be blue. We want it to be red. So looking at this color, we can go to the left right here and looking at our color box. We can tell that it needs to be inverted and we need to bring the baseline down a little bit. And maybe if there is an answer, increase the scale. So going down to the answers, like I mentioned, we want to invert the color. They all have invert color, which is good, but we want decrease baseline. So we got decrease baseline, invert, invert. These ones are out of the question. So since we did invert it, we may need to turn up the we would want to decrease the gain. So all this scattering and ghosting, we don't want that. So it would decrease gain, invert color, and decrease baseline. And again, decrease gain is for this image coloring right here. I would say the scale, increase it, the PRF, if it was, we did invert it and it wasn't as bright. But if we did invert it and it was the same, we would just adjust the gains, so the color max. Going on to this image, what are the following artifacts is displayed in this image? It's very hard to describe, but if you know, you know. This one would be the focal banding, because if on the image you can tell that it is this, and then this is like cut in half, so it's very more enhanced in the image of the organ you are scanning. So this one, which part of the tissue phantom corresponds with 2? 2, if you know, you know. If you know this layout, good. If you don't, it's okay. So the phantom is what programs your machine, your sonography machine. So when they test it to make sure it's okay, all of these dots need to come up. But knowing the dots are important also. So we look at it, we see 2. And 2 is actually the axial resolution. So axial is going up, and number 3 is the lateral resolution. So it's going straight. That's how I can remember it. So it would be axial. So last one, in this image of normal carotid artery, the notch on the probe is oriented towards the patient's head. Adjust the console to display the correct color flow parameters. Okay, again, we're gonna look at this image. First thing we see is a box. And it's not supposed to be a box, a square box. It's supposed to be steered to the right. So that is wrong. Now we can see there's no blue, there's no nothing. So we don't need to invert it because the red is not on the bottom. But we need to increase this scale, or this baseline, to the center. So looking at the answers, we can see that we need to increase the baseline, so these 3, and then color steer to the right, which is that. So this color steer to the center, no. And then we would increase the baseline, color steer to the right, and then we would, increase the PRF or decrease the scale. If you move it up, it will increase the baseline. So it would, you would have to decrease the PRF because it is too high. So 2 divided by 199, let me do this off the top of my head, it's like 80, and that is too high, 80 something, too high for an artery. So you'd want it to be around, 30, 40 PRFs. So that is a good thing to keep in mind when you are looking at the artery, or the CCA, the common carotid artery. anyways, that's just a quick video on me explaining stuff. I think it helps me, and I hope it helps you too. So thank you for watching.